It is a Friday evening. You just finished work. You are on your sofa, shoes off, phone in hand, and you are watching something. A series, a documentary, something that requires nothing from you. And somewhere between episode 2 and episode 3, you pick up your phone and check your bank account. You always do this, not because you are expecting anything different, just because you always need to know the number. The number looks the same as it did last Friday. And for a moment, just a brief moment before episode 3 starts, a quiet thought crosses your mind. Is this it? Is this just what my finances look like now? Is this what they will always look like? And then episode 3 starts and the thought goes away. I made this video for that moment, that Friday evening moment between episode 2 and episode 3, because that moment is telling you something important. And most personal finance content is too polite to say what it is. 11 rules. Every single one of them sounds harder than what you have heard before. Every single one of them is more useful than what you have heard before. That is the trade. The personal finance industry is built on making you feel good. Small wins, gentle nudges, motivational reminders that you are doing your best. And you probably are doing your best. But doing your best inside the wrong set of rules produces exactly the same result as not trying at all. You exhaust yourself going nowhere. These 11 rules are not comfortable. They are not the ones that will make you feel validated right now. They are the ones that will make you feel slightly restless, slightly dissatisfied with things that felt okay 5 minutes ago. And that restlessness, if you let it, is the most financially productive feeling you can have. Because restlessness is what produces change, and change is what produces wealth. Rule 1. Your income is not your problem, your system is. You have had salary increases in the last few years. Each one felt significant when it arrived. Each one produced a version of the same thought. Finally, now things will start to look different. And within 90 days of each one, life had quietly adjusted. The apartment became slightly nicer. The takeaway became slightly more frequent. The weekend became slightly more expensive. And the savings rate stayed almost exactly where it was. This is the rule nobody wants to hear. Income without a system is just a larger version of the same problem. The habits that produce near zero savings on $40,000 will produce near zero savings on $60,000. The amount changes. The system stays the same. The question is not, how do I earn more? The question is, what happens to my money between arriving and leaving? Because until that question has a specific answer, more income is just more to lose. Rule 2. The people you spend the most time with are either building your wealth or eroding it. Think about the last time you spent money you had not planned to spend. Not on an emergency, on something social, a dinner you did not really feel like, a round of drinks because everyone else was getting one, a purchase because someone mentioned it and it felt strange to be the only person who did not. This is not weakness. This is how humans work. Financial behavior spreads through social environments the same way language does, through exposure, normalization, and the deep human desire to belong. If the people closest to you normalize spending everything feels normal. If nobody in your immediate world talks about building feels like something other people do. The rule is not to abandon anyone. It is to deliberately add to your environment, a podcast, a community, a connection with someone who is building, until building also feels normal. Rule 3. Comfort is the enemy of wealth. You are not in financial trouble right now. That is the problem. If you were in genuine financial trouble, if the account had hit zero, if the debt had become unmanageable, if the crisis had arrived, you would change something. The discomfort would be loud enough to demand action. But you are not in trouble. You are in the okay zone. Bills paid, month managed, nothing on fire. And in the okay zone, there is no urgency. In the okay zone, change feels optional. And optional things almost never happen. Wealth is built in the uncomfortable zone, where you are saying no when everyone else says yes, where you are driving the older car while the investment account quietly grows, where you are slightly different from your surroundings in ways that occasionally attract comments. Not suffering, just uncomfortable enough to be building. Rule 4. Most of what you spend money on, you would not choose again if you were paying attention. Take out your phone right now. Open your banking app. Go back 3 months. Find every transaction you cannot immediately explain or justify. Not the big ones. The small ones. The ones under $30 that appeared so regularly you stopped seeing them. The subscription you forgot you had. The food bought out of habit, not hunger. The social spending you participated in by default because opting out felt more awkward than paying. Add them up. For most people, this number is somewhere between $150 and $300 per month. That is between $1,800 and $3,600 per year. That is between $40,000 and $80,000 over 20 years at average investment returns. Not stolen. Spent. On things that mattered so little you cannot remember most of them a week later. Rule 5. Waiting for the right time to start is the most expensive decision you will make. You have been meaning to open an investment account, maybe for 6 months, maybe for 2 years, maybe since someone mentioned a Roth IRA at a party and you nodded as if you already had one. Every month you wait is a month of compound interest that cannot be recovered. Not reduced, not made up later, permanently gone. The person who starts $200 per month at 25 and stops at 35 ends up with more at 65 than the person who starts at 35 and contributes every single month until 65. 30 years of contributions versus 10. And the earlier starter still wins. There is no version of today that will feel more ready than today. The readiness you are waiting for does not arrive before you start. It arrives after. The right time was 10 years ago. The second best time is before episode 3 starts tonight. Rule 6. Nobody is coming to teach you what you need to know. Think back to every year of school you attended. Nobody taught you what a Roth IRA was. Nobody explained compound interest in a way that made you feel its urgency. Nobody sat you down and said, here is the difference between an asset and a liability, and here is why that difference will determine the shape of your entire financial life. They did not teach you this, not because they forgot, because the system that educated you was not designed to make you financially independent. Banks profit from your financial ignorance. Credit card companies rely on it. The streaming services, the fast fashion brands, the buy now, pay later platforms, they are all built on the assumption that you do not fully understand what you are doing with your money. Your financial education is your responsibility. One concept per month. One honest conversation with someone who knows more than you. That is the entire requirement. Nobody is coming. Start without them. Rule 7. Every lifestyle upgrade, before you can afford it, costs more than you paid. You are looking at a nicer apartment. Maybe $300 more per month. The kitchen is better. The location is better. You have earned it. But the nicer apartment does not cost $300 per month. It costs $300 per month plus the investment returns that money would have produced, plus the financial options that close when your fixed costs are too high to ever build a meaningful gap. The person who lives modestly for 10 years and invests the difference does not just end up with more money. They end up with more choices, more ability to take risks, more freedom to say no to work they do not want to do, more capacity to survive an unexpected hardship without catastrophe. Lifestyle is not a reward for earning. It is a trade, and the trade has a price most people never calculate because the price is not on the label. Rule 8. Every dollar of consumer debt is a dollar you borrowed from your future self without their permission. Your future self did not agree to pay for what you are buying right now on credit. They had no say, they were not consulted, and they will pay for it regardless, with interest, on top of whatever else their life requires of them at that point. This is what consumer debt actually is. Not a financial tool, not a bridge, a transfer of cost from your present self to your future self at a premium your future self did not negotiate and cannot avoid. The minimum payment exists to make this transfer feel manageable. It is not manageable. It is the most expensive way to buy almost anything. And the interest rate on that cost, 20, 24, 29%, is a number no investment in the world is consistently producing on the other side. Rule 9. The gap between what you earn and what you spend is the only number that actually matters. You are thinking about your finances right now, and you are probably thinking about your income. Stop. Your income is not the number. The gap is the number. A person earning $40,000 and spending $32,000 is building wealth faster than a person earning $80,000 and spending $79,000. The higher earner earns twice as much and builds almost nothing. The lower earner builds consistently every month. The gap is the engine. Income is just fuel. You can have enormous amounts of fuel, but without an engine to run it through, you produce nothing. Most people manage their spending and discover the gap at the end of the month. Wealthy people protect the gap first and manage their spending within what remains. That single reversal produces more wealth than almost any other financial decision available to you. Rule 10. The version of you that is waiting to feel ready will never feel ready. You know the things you need to do. You have known for a while. Track your spending. Start the investment account. Eliminate the credit card. Build the emergency fund. Have the honest conversation with yourself about what your finances actually look like. You know. And you have not done it yet. Not because you are lazy, because starting requires accepting that where you are right now is the starting point. And accepting that is uncomfortable. Nobody felt ready when they started. Every person who has ever built something real began imperfectly, with the wrong amount, in the wrong account, with incomplete knowledge and zero confidence. The imperfect start that actually happens produces results. The perfect plan that never launches produces nothing. You do not need to feel ready. You need to start. The feeling comes after. Rule 11. Wealth is built quietly, or it is not built at all. You do not know who the wealthy people in your city are, not the flashy ones, not the ones with the visible car and the visible apartment and the visible lifestyle, the actual ones, the ones whose net worth would surprise you, the ones who have been quietly building for 15 years while appearing perfectly ordinary. They do not post about their investment milestones. They do not announce when they paid off a debt. They do not perform their financial discipline for an audience because the performance is not the point. The automatic transfer nobody knows about, the raise split before the lifestyle adjusts, the old car driven for one more year, the dinner declined simply and without drama. Every time you perform your financial life for an audience, every time the announcement becomes the point rather than the building, you are spending energy on the wrong output. Build quietly. Be consistent. Be invisible while you do it. The wealth will become undeniable without you ever having to announce it. Go back to that sofa, that Friday evening. Episode 2 just ended. The thought that crossed your mind between episodes, is this just what my finances look like? Is this what they will always look like? That thought was not an intrusion. It was information. It was the part of you that already knew something needed to change, trying to get your attention between episodes. 11 rules, every single one of them uncomfortable. Every single one of them true. You can go back to episode 3 now. I am not going to tell you not to. But if these 11 rules did what they were supposed to do, you are going to be slightly more restless during episode 3 than you were during episode 1. Good. That restlessness is not a problem to solve with another episode. It is the beginning of something. And the beginning is the only thing that was ever missing.